According to BuzzFeed, the internet is speechless after AOC just read Riley Gaines for filth. We'll go over why the internet thinks that, but there is a much more serious point we absolutely need to address relating to this entire back and forth situation. We'll go through why all the liberals think AOC owned Riley during this online fight, why conservatives think Riley Gaines actually came out on top, and then we need to address what the real issue is here. The important thing going over everyone's head. Surprise. But first, let's quickly cover who these people even are in the first place, right? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, is a Democratic U.S. representative from New York's 14th District. She's been in Congress since 2019 and is known for her super progressive politics, sharp social media presence, and advocacy on issues like climate policy, workers' rights, and equity. Riley Gaines is a former University of Kentucky All-American swimmer who tied the biological male Leah Thomas at the 2022 NCAA Women's Championships and has since become a leading advocate for sex-based categories in women's sports, arguing for fairness and clear eligibility rules. In short, AOC is a high-profile lawmaker and communicator on the left. Riley is an athlete-turned-activist focused on women's sports policy, and both of them have enormous social media presences, which is what makes this entire issue so freaking interesting. Let's get into it. The entire thing started when Riley Gaines posted a rally photo of AOC with Zohran Mamdani and Bernie Sanders and captioned it, "We're being destroyed from within." AOC fired back on X, saying, maybe if you channeled all this anger into swimming faster, you wouldn't have come in fifth. Then later told Riley to get a real job. Riley countered by challenging AOC to a live debate and saying her real job is being a mom, the most important and rewarding job in the world. And both sides' feeds spent the next 48 hours declaring victory as the clips bounced around social media. Bop, 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 bop. So why do they both think that they won this online feud? Perspective number one. AOC's side and why her crowd believes she dominated the exchange. The viral story from her side was simple and brutal. AOC mocked Riley's NCAA result and later told her to get a real job. Whether you loved that or hated that, those lines moved all across social media because they're short, mean, and easy to spread. Liberal press and a lot of influencers framed it as a complete shutdown. Read for filth. Left her speechless. That's how the internet keeps score. A crisp insult. A clean dunk. A flood of likes and shares. AOC and her followers see it like this. Riley's platform grows by targeting trans people. The fairness claims that are always coming out of Riley's social media and out of her mouth are exaggerated. Politicians should defend trans rights clearly. And when someone stokes outrage for attention, you don't owe them a polite back and forth exchange. If you live in that world, the dunk on Riley isn't just entertaining. It's signaling strong, progressive, and inclusive values and refusing to normalize hate. That's why AOC's crowd loved this so much. Perspective number two. From Riley's side, it's pretty simple as well. She tied Leah Thomas, a person born male, at the NCAA championship. I don't know what words are allowed on YouTube, so I'm saying Leah Thomas was a person born male, a biological male. I don't know what's allowed. Okay. Doesn't matter. Riley Gaines tied Leah Thomas in the 2022 national championships. And Riley felt like the rules were completely changed on her right before the race. And she thinks the basic fairness lines got blurred. She keeps asking for an actual debate, hearings, clear standards, the whole thing. So when AOC tossed get a real job, Riley answered as a new mom and said, great, let's debate. Name the time. And AOC completely neglected to respond to that. Now, right-leaning and actually a lot of middle outlets called Riley's move gutsy. Take the hit, still show up, keep fighting for women's categories. In this world, the viral dunk just proves the point. Politicians would rather throw a jab, a little insult in there, than to take the argument because they can't defend their positions against any intelligent person with opposing views. Okay? Now, this back and forth is funny. Sure. Ha 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 ha. Dunked on you, whatever. It's completely meaningless. We're about to get into the part that actually matters. Both sides are convinced they won, right? And both sides can show you a screenshot or a tweet to prove it. And that's because platforms reward humiliation over substance. The algorithm doesn't amplify the unsexy stuff, clear eligibility, verified facts, and side-by-side results across leagues. None of that stuff that Riley actually wants to talk about to create policy change. No, it amplifies fifth place and get a real job. I don't care who you support. This machine pushes us to cheer the put down and scroll past any real educational or substance at all, any substance at all. I want to slow down and say the quiet thing clearly. Riley publicly offered to debate. The viral clip that you saw all over social media wasn't that. It was the dunk, not the invite. That contrast is the tell. If you run social media for a living, you know I'm right. Attacks always outperform nuance on every single platform. And fast outrage outruns a slow explanation every single time. We built a scoreboard that crowns the best insult, not the best idea. And social media has amplified that times 100. Let me give you a quick story from my own life to explain why this bothers me so much. So I took a debate class in college. At least I think it was a debate class. I was really bad in school. I don't even remember what the class was called, but I believe it was a debate class because that's all we did. It was an elective class that I thought would be an easy A because, well, personally, I just love to argue. It's kind of my thing. But I was wrong. It was actually pretty freaking difficult. And for one project, we had to get up in front of the entire class and debate certain topics with another student in the class. The professor chose the topic, so, they weren't super serious, like we weren't debating welfare policy or anything like that. But there was one debate where one male student was tasked to prove dogs make better companions, and his female opponent was tasked with proving cats made better companions. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I am a huge dog guy, okay? I'm always with my pup Jasper. He goes everywhere with me. He goes to dinner with us. He sleeps in bed with us. I mean, he's my best friend. And I have always been that way with dogs. So I was ready to hear this guy out debate the cat girl. I was ready for it. Let's go dogs. And this is no shade to the cat people out there. I just really love dogs. Love most cats too, but dogs are man's best friend for a reason. So the guy tasked with proving dogs make better companions brought out all these statistics, citations, real evidence showing how a dog can positively affect your life. He was intellectually owning this woman, but then the girl used her closing statement to basically say something like, the only reason you prefer dogs over cats is because the patriarchy has taught you that things you can control are good and things you can't control are bad. Does that make sense? Does that apply to this debate, this argument? I don't know. But the class that was predominantly female then had to vote who won, and nearly every single woman in the entire class, I think maybe one didn't vote for this, but nearly every single woman in the entire class voted for the cat lady, and she won. But she had objectively lost the debate. She provided the zero evidence to make her case. She was on the back foot the entire time. But she had one dunk at the very end, which made everyone forget all of the evidence Homie had presented, and they voted for the cat lady. Now, funny enough, side point, Riley and I actually went to the same college, go Cats, but that's beside the point. The lesson I took away from that debate was an ugly one, and it rings true today. If you want attention and you want to win, swing for the frickin' face. If you want progress, prepare to be ignored. And that's the trap both AOC and Riley are stuck in. That's the trap we are all stuck in, because we made that the game. AOC's camp says dead naming and harassment of, what's the word here? Gender different people are running rampant on the right. And engaging in debates with that crowd legitimizes that. They'll point to Riley's most heated posts and TV spots as proof that her intent is to provoke, not to actually solve a problem. They'll also highlight gender different people's safety and dignity as non-negotiable. And they'll cite values first, studies second. That's a real stance. And it's why they celebrate AOC's clapback and refusal to acknowledge a debate as a win. It signals protection of the marginalized. Riley's camp says women's sports are built on sex-based categories for a reason. They say that governing bodies are all over the place, and any politician who won't discuss rules and data is just running from reality. They'll cite the challenge she made, note prior hearings that she has joined, and argue that if your case is strong, you should welcome a structured debate. Now, that's a real stance too. It just depends on which echo chamber you're in. And that stance is why the right and a lot of the center celebrate Riley's challenge. Her challenge signals competence and seriousness. So who won, right? Who won this back and forth Twitter debate argument? It wasn't even a debate. Back and forth Twitter clapback session. Neither of them did. We lost. We always lose. We proved again that humiliation beats substance. The dunk beats substance. We are all so dumb. We proved again that the cat lady debate tactic still wins today. We trained a generation to perform righteousness instead of doing the work to persuade. And we gave algorithms the power to decide which parts of our politics grow and which parts die. If you're feeling tired and worn down, if you feel drained every single time you try to engage in politics, this is why. This is the reason why. So here's where we need to land. Systems first. You might have heard me say that before. Systems first. If you cheer AOC's values, demand she pair them with an open forum. The kind with a moderator, terms, rules, time for evidence, and room to concede points. Not a clown debate on X, a real one. And not some forum where she just gets up there with Bernie Sanders and Caitlin Collins in front of 100 people that support them and love them, and they ask questions. That doesn't move the needle. That just affirms everything being said and done in one freaking echo chamber. Stop getting angry while recording. Now, if you cheer Riley's challenge, demand the same from her. No ambushes, no viral cherry picks. Show up with rule proposals and data, not just anger, fear-mongering, or, cherry pick things that will anger your base. Both of those demands go against the internet's incentive, and that's exactly the point. That's exactly the issue. I'm not naive about how hard that is. The last few days weren't just messy. They were personal. AOC's get a real job line landed because it was designed to land and receive applause from her anger-filled base. Riley's I'll debate you, name the time and place, line landed because it was designed to land too. Riley knows AOC won't agree to a debate with an online influencer activist. Both are built for reach. Neither moves policy 1 inch. Neither fixes anything that we're dealing with. Quick disclaimer, really quick. I know Riley personally. I know she's more than just an influencer/activist. But right now, that doesn't matter. If you want a North Star for how this could be better, for how we could move forward, start right here with these 3 personal changes we all need to start making, okay? Not start making, we all need to make right now. ASAP. First, stop rewarding the freaking dunk. Don't share it. If you must, share the long version and share the entire argument with context. I mean, do you know how easy it is to go viral from just dunking on someone? Political influencers that do nothing but dunking on the people they disagree with in the meanest, most cherry-picked ways are the most untalented, most toxic people on the internet. I know this personally because I grew to 900,000 subscribers on my other channel and had far too many videos go super viral. I mean, getting tens of millions of views doing just that. Stop rewarding them. Second, separate people from policy in your head. Virtue signaling is great. Yeah, woohoo. Great virtue signaling. And what's the actual policy that person presents to make things better? Great. You can say whatever you want to prove that you care about people, right? Both sides do this. I don't care. What's the actual policy that person presents to make things better? Third, make yourself interested in the boring stuff. I know that sounds terrible. I know, it sounds awful. But we need to look under the one-liners. We need to look under the headlines, the euphemisms that are just meant to manipulate you and not inform you. If that sounds dull, that's because the process of educating yourself usually is. But what if the majority of us started to do that? The majority of us woke up and said, screw these people that are manipulating you with anger, fear, anxiety. We see right through you. We see under you. We see above you. We see what's to the side. We see everything that is making up your entire little crappy, misleading one-liner. If enough of us wake up to that, these people will have no power. They won't be able to manipulate us. Now, this is the part I think matters the most, by far. If you're in AOC's audience and you care about transgender people, push for forums that don't just punish, but also explain and persuade. For forums that don't just silence people that disagree, but the kind that actually reduces harm by explaining and painting the entire picture, especially for the people that don't already agree with you, the people that don't see the way that you see. That's who you need to reach. Now, if you're in Riley's audience and you care about women's sports, push for forums where proposals get stress tested by smart critics, not just cheered by friends. And honestly, I think Riley's honestly pretty good at this. She's good at just laying out data and facts as well regarding that specific issue. And if you're in the middle and you're exhausted, I promise you, you're not crazy. You're seeing a machine that teaches us to hate and profits enormously when we do. So I refuse to grade this fight on who humiliated who better. I'm grading it on who tried to elevate the argument. And I'm going to give the edge to AOC or to Riley Gaines there. I don't think AOC did anything at all to elevate the argument or to bring this discourse, this issue into the public to actually educate us on it. Right now, the internet is winning, and we, you and me, we're losing. You don't, maybe you do. We don't. As a mass population, we don't have any idea the effects that the internet is having on us, how manipulated we actually are. Are our emotions actually our own? Are our thoughts our own? We don't know. We really don't. Are these words coming out of my mouth right now my own words, or are they just something that the internet shoved in my head and manipulated me using anxiety, fear, and anger? This is something we all need to be more aware of. The fix, how we move forward, isn't a better insult. The fix is changing what we reward. If either of them, Riley or AOC, wants to actually lead on this, they'll accept a real debate, agree to ground rules, and commit to airing the full thing. No edits, no spin, no wormy little biased moderators interrupting every 5 seconds, especially when someone starts to make a good point. And if that happens, I will be the first to say that we're moving in the right direction, and I will celebrate it. And this is why I loved, things like Charlie Kirk had Gavin Newsom on to talk. I love that. Bill Maher does a great job inviting people that he disagrees with onto a show, and they have real discussions, and that's where we learn the most. That's how we move in the right direction. Whether you love Gavin Newsom or hate him, whether you love Charlie Kirk or hate him, doesn't matter. They disagree on a lot. They came together, they had a conversation, and guess what? When we have those conversations, not just these little one-liner viral dunks, that's when we realize we're not so different. We're not. The majority of us want what's best for our neighbors, for our countrymen, for everyone that we know and love, for everyone in the country that we don't know and love. We just have different ways of moving in that direction, of getting there. And when you take someone's using Charlie Kirk as an example right here, when you take a 10-minute video that he makes, explaining his position on something and why he believes something would be better off if it was changed in this way, you take one line out of context and you shove that becomes the one line or the headline everywhere. Congrats. You just fear-mongered. You just made half the country angrier, more anxious, more scared, but we didn't move forward. That's what we need to stop. And until then, remember this. A viral W isn't actually a win if the country just gets dumber and angrier because of it. We need more people to demand better. And once we have that, this country is going to get a lot better really fast. I'm Lou Hawley. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Tomorrow is actually Halloween, and I don't have a costume picked out or anything yet. Wow. Do you? Hope you have a great day.